talking Nebraska football. Scott Frost, year 4 with Greg Peterson from Husker Online on Rivals here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Please like the videos if you enjoy the content. Share them out on social media, so keep this in mind. If you enjoy the videos, then other people will as too. And if you've got people that you connect with on Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms, they have no idea necessarily that we're here, so you can be our connection to them. So share the videos on social media and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. Greg, how are we doing today?
Doing good. How about you, Mark?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you stopping by as always. Always a good time.
Pleasure.
The Big Ten released its second version of the schedule. Had to clean a few things up. It wasn't that much of a deviation from what they originally sent out, but wanted to run down the odds and ends as the Huskers line up here. Right out of the gate, Greg, kind of an intriguing matchup just in regards to the location and the date in which it's played. Week 0. Now, Week 0 is usually reserved for the Hawaiis and Colorado States of the world. We've got a Big Ten matchup in Ireland with a game against Illinois on the Saturday of Week 0, August 28th.
Yeah, and that's obviously that's up in the air right now with the COVID situation. And so that's yet to be determined if that's going to play out as planned. But that was a big deal. I mean, they had come to Lincoln and had a whole big press conference on that. And, usually that's a game reserved for Notre Dame. And, I think Notre Dame and Navy were supposed to play that game this year again. And that got canceled because of COVID. But, the guys over there in Dublin had wanted a little bit of Big Ten flavor, and Nebraska seemed to be a brand that jumped out to them and was a no-brainer that they reached out to Nebraska and Illinois. And so that game is supposed to go on, and everybody's excited. Coach Frost even mentioned yesterday, had even brought that up about him and his wife loving to travel overseas, and we were all planning on going. We had a whole deal set up with a travel agency, and our whole staff was going to go over there, and our wives, and it was going to be fun. But who knows if that's going to happen or not? But that game's still going to take place as an opening game, and it's not up to Nebraska if that still gets played on Week 0 or not. Coach Frost was asked about that too, and that's out of his hands. That's the powers that be that will make that decision. So we'll see if that happens or not.
And understandably so, if it does get played in Dublin, Ireland, that Week 0 makes sense, because then you give the teams that time to adjust to the time travel and coming back to the States. And so if the game's played in Ireland, for sure, then there's going to be a Saturday, September 4th. That's a bye week leading into the 2 non-conference games. And Oklahoma's, of course, the marquee matchup on the road in Norman in Week 3, but can't take Buffalo lightly. They've been one of the better teams in the MAC in recent years.
Yeah, coming off of a bowl victory, and they're a solid club. So right out of the gate, you're going to get tested with a conference team, and then a pretty good MAC program. So we'll see what this Nebraska team's made of early on, especially like you mentioned, going into Week 3 when you got to go down to Norman and renew one of the classic rivalries in college football. A rivalry that I know both fan bases have been waiting for that to rekindle. So, that's 3 games right there. It's going to show you, point the way towards the rest of the season, and kind of determine if you're going to be any good or if you're looking at another 4-win season or not.
Now, every time I look at a Big Ten schedule, what I'm looking at is obviously everybody plays the teams in their division. So what you're looking at is, who do you play in the other division? How difficult is it going to be, the sledding, in playing 3 of the 7 teams in the other division? And for Nebraska, I know Michigan was down last year. Michigan State's not what they've been under Mark Antonio, but still, Ohio State, Michigan State's a pretty tough draw out of the East.
Yeah, that's about as tough as you can get. Throw Penn State in there as well, and up and coming Maryland ball club as well. But that you're not getting any favors from the Big Ten scheduling there whatsoever on those crossover games. Nebraska, Ohio State are starting to get used to each other. It seems like they're playing every year now. Michigan would have been fun if you thought about the McCaffrey brothers maybe going after it, going against each other, but that's not going to happen either now. So, it's interesting. The schedule overall for Nebraska is one of the tougher schedules in the country when you look at it. Already you got two of the four teams that played in the college playoff previous season. So, yeah.
Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, breaking down Nebraska. We bring on Greg Peterson to do that for us from Husker Online on Rivals. Yeah, when you look at Buffalo, Oklahoma, Michigan State, Northwestern, Michigan, Minnesota, that is a pretty tough stretch right there. Then the bye, Purdue, Ohio State, and it's not a bye. It's you don't look past anyone, but a bit of a light touch with Southeastern Louisiana. At least if the games will matter at that point, if Nebraska's having a nice season, and if they're in the thick of the Big Ten Western Division race, then they have what could ultimately be the most typical and most important games of the season after getting a light touch against Southeastern Louisiana, against Wisconsin on the road, and Iowa to conclude the season.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of look at that. You hope it's not one of those feel-good games that you just got your butt whipped a couple of weeks in a row and you're just looking to bounce back against the Southeast Louisiana team. But, you close out the schedule, you got to go to Wisconsin, and then you got an Iowa team here that we all know that Nebraska's had a lot of trouble trying to beat those two teams here as of late. This schedule it's loaded. If Nebraska ends up being a bowl team, then you can definitely say that they've earned that bowl spot if that's how it plays out. There's no favors in there whatsoever. There's none of those cupcakes to start your year off, with a 4-0 record before you go into conference play, like a lot of times it happens. So, yeah, I mean, it's a tough schedule all the way up and down.